What's going on, everyone? So the Golden State Warriors have been very active in trying to acquire the Utah Jazz Lauri Markkanen. They're the team that has pushed the hardest. They're the team that has been kind of the focal point in all of the just latest news surrounding Lauri Markkanen. But the Warriors are kind of in this position where they don't want to sell the farm for Lauri Markkanen, which is understandable, right? They want to keep Pod, they want to keep Kuminga, but they also want to get a guy that pairs well alongside Steph Curry that can help raise the ceiling and take some pressure off of Steph, right? Because Steph really does need that secondary help, right? Like, he is still an incredible talent. He's still so great. And he is kind of at that impasse, particularly for the Warriors, where it's like, you owe it to Steph to get something done, right? But is that the best decision for the Warriors? And the problem is that, like, the Warriors seem to just kind of have one foot in, one foot out. They want to get a guy to help Steph, but they also don't want to give up their foundation and youth to do that. And it's like, how do you get that without, you have to give something to get something, right? And so the Warriors really have to make a decision. You got to pick a direction, you got to pick a lane, and you got to stick to it. And I've talked about heavily that I actually think that what the Warriors should do is trade Steph Curry. They're reluctant to trade Pod and Kuminga because they were so good. They were real promising young talents that both look like they could be a real just fixture. I mean, Kuminga looks like he could potentially be a star. He's inconsistent. He has his concerns, but if he can really kind of just stay focused, hone his talents, he has star potential. Pod looks like a legit 3-and-D playmaking guard that can shoot on high efficiency. Like, these two, I understand why the Warriors want to keep them, and they should want to keep them. But you can't want to keep them and also want to build a contender around Steph. You got to pick a lane here. Like, you hear the reports and it's like, oh, they want this guy. They really want to build this team, right? They owe it to Steph. They don't want Steph to leave, right? And you hear Steph like talking about, like, yeah, he wants to be a Warrior for life, but he also doesn't want to be on a bottom feeding team. He wants to be on a contender. He wants to still win. And it's like, you're the Warriors. You have all this young talent, and they have very good young talent, right? You have picks. You have everything that you could want to hit a rebuild. And the return that you would get for Steph Curry would be huge in that direction and really help expedite that rebuild, right? And yet it's kind of like, and I get it, it's hard, right? It's like your kid going away to college. You know it's what's best for them. You know that they need to kind of, break away from the house, but it's your baby. You don't want to see them go, right? You want them to stay. It's kind of what it is with Steph. And the problem is I don't know if Steph would really, because it is what's best for Steph too at this point, to go to a team that he believes he can win a championship with, right? And get some real help. Because look, the other thing too is, and I get it from a Warriors standpoint, Lauri Markkanen is not making the Warriors a contender. Now, is it possible that, maybe they get Lauri Markkanen and Steph is so great, and maybe Jonathan Kuminga takes another step, and maybe Andrew Wiggins can kind of get back to being the Andrew Wiggins you saw in 2020 or 2022, and, they collectively, could potentially be a contender? Because even in 2022, the Warriors didn't look like a contender. I mean, even Draymond said, like, we were terrible, right? And then we just flipped the switch, and Steph was great, and Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins really took strides, and, he was the second best player for the Warriors, right? Like, could something like that happen? Sure, but it's just so many things that need to go right, and so many factors take into place, and it's just, I don't think that's the right course of action, right? So I get the reluctance of trading for Lauri Markkanen and giving up a Pod or a Kuminga, because it's like, like, how much better does Lauri Markkanen make us? And, not just that, but you're going to have to pay him 40 plus million. Is he really worth that? Like, there's a lot. His injury history. But if you don't want to do it, then fine, don't do it. But pick a direction. Pick a lane. Yes, you owe it to Steph to do right by him. But you owe it to Steph to do right by him one way or the other. You owe it to Steph to do right by him by either getting him the pieces he needs to give him the best chance to win a championship, or doing right by him by trading him to a team that he wants to go to that can get him or help him potentially get another championship. And in return, you're going to get a bunch of picks and players and all that stuff. Right? It's not like you're going to get nothing for him. Now, you probably aren't going to get the package you would get if this was, 5 years ago. But you are going to get a significant package. You're going to get a very good package for Steph Curry. But, you got to factor in his age and stuff. There are concerns, right? And there are factors that go into that. But still, right? Like, you need, if I'm the Warriors when he gets back from the Olympics, I'm sitting down with him and I'm having an honest, real conversation. Like, hey, the band's already broken up. We have these young players that it's probably in our best interest, right? We don't want to be the bad guy here. We know you don't want to be the bad guy here, but we need to figure something out. Because from an organizational standpoint, it is in our best interest to stick with the young guys and continue to grow and develop. That piece isn't there. If a Giannis becomes available, then yeah, sure, we'll go after him for you. But if it doesn't, then it's in our best interest to just stay young and stay with these players. Do you want and are you okay with that, or are you not? And you just make it very simple. You just say, hey, again, if Jokic becomes available, we'll get him, right? If that super duper star that can make us a contender again becomes available, we'll get him. But that's probably not going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then we got to stay where we're at. Are you okay with that? And now, if Steph says yes, and he wants to ride it out, then fine. Then you got that, and you got it out the way. And now there's no, I want this, that, and the other. No, you just say, hey, Steph, we talked. Everybody's okay with this. We all understand. Right? Or Steph goes, I really don't want to do that. I really don't, I still believe I can win. I still want to do that. All right, then should we start looking for a trade for you? And you take that step. And you come to it mutually, and you make that transparent, right? And you put that out there immediately. I mean, this is the reason Bob Myers left. Because he knew that tough decisions were going to be made. And were going to have to be made. And guys like Klay Thompson and Draymond and Steph and all these guys were going to depart at some point. And you may potentially have to break that up. And you may potentially have to make hard moves. That is literally why Bob Myers left. Because he had too much of an attachment. And the new CBA and all that. So, again, if you're the Warriors, I think you need to have a real, honest, genuine conversation. You're Mike Dunleavy Jr., you need to sit down and talk to him and go, hey, what do you want? What do you need? Because I don't see Steph being that guy that's just going to go, barging in and, hey, loyalty. He was loyal. No one's going to care if he leaves. I mean, there's going to be, some fans that are overdramatic and, Steph or that. Just like Dame, right? Like Dame was as loyal as you could possibly be. And it's like, it only gets you so far. I think most people would understand the scenario, right? Like, this is best for the organization. This is best for Steph Curry. And if Steph wins, it's not going to, I've seen people, this could damper it's not going to do anything to his legacy. If anything, it'd make it better because he'd have another championship. Like, no one's going to care. that he won a championship with another team, right? Because everyone will understand the circumstances. Everyone will understand the situation, right? Everyone will know that, hey, it's not because Steph, it's not a Kevin Durant situation. It's a situation that it ran its course, right? Steph brought a dynasty to the Golden State Warriors, won 4 championships, did everything you could ever ask for, right? It's time to move on. Or you make the move, you make the push. Again, I like what they did. I think that they did a good, solid job, and I think that the Warriors are better than they were last year. But I don't think they're a contender, and I don't know if Lauri Markkanen solves that. I don't know if Lauri Markkanen makes them a contender. In my opinion, he doesn't, right? But I think he definitely makes them better, and I think it's a step in the right direction. And then I also think if you go and trade for Lauri Markkanen, you need to push all your chips in and try to go win a championship. Because you're already going to be trading your young talent to get Markkanen and trading parts of your future to get Markkanen. I think you might as well just go all in. And I think that that's part of the problem, right? I think that that's part of the Warriors' concern is that, man, if we go get Markkanen and we trade a Kuminga or whatever, then we might as well just trade everybody and really try our best to do that. That's the thing. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But, I mean, at this rate, the Warriors are probably not going to get Lauri Markkanen. And if they don't get Lauri Markkanen, what do you do? What do you do at that point? Right? Do you just really run it back and then, now you're at best a play-in team again? And, is Steph going to be okay with that? I mean, if he is, fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If he looks at it and goes, hey, you know what? I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I won my 4 chips, did my thing. We're good, right? Whatever. I'm fine. Then fine. I mean, you can't really knock him for that. But, I mean, he said himself, he doesn't want to be on a bottom-feeding team. Okay, well then, at some point, you're going to have to man up and request a trade. Or the Warriors are going to have to get it done. And it's feeling more and more like what's best for both sides is a divorce. It sounds like, end it amicably, stay friends, and you're good. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, they got to pick a lane, pick a direction, and the direction should be to trade Steph? Do you think, no, keep Steph? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.